The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm, golden hue over the small village of Ginger. Life in Ginger was simple, yet each day seemed to hold an unspoken complexity. The villagers, with their routines and whispers, navigated their lives under the watchful eye of their leader, Mwangi. Known for his stern demeanor and authoritative presence, Mwangi held the respect and fear of every villager, until rumors began to spread like wildfire. Among the villagers, Amina was a vibrant, hopeful 19-year-old girl. She had dreams of exploring beyond the confines of Ginger, but fate had other plans. Her once bright eyes now reflected the weight of her new reality. A few months ago, her secret meetings with Mwangi took a turn she hadn't anticipated. The initial allure of his power and attention had now become a burden, for Amina is pregnant. The market square was bustling with activity. Women haggled over prices, children played, and men discussed the latest news. Amina walked through the crowd, her head held high despite the murmurs that followed her. "Did you hear about Amina?" whispered one woman to another. "They say she's carrying Mwangi's child." "Impossible. Mwangi would never stoop so low," her friend replied, shaking her head. Mwangi sat in his elaborately decorated home, his mind wandering. He was preoccupied with thoughts of Nia, the beautiful 18-year-old girl he had been noticing lately. Her laughter and grace had captivated him, distracting him from his duties. "Father, you seem distracted," said Jomo, Mwangi's eldest son. "Is everything all right?" Mwangi snapped out of his reverie. "Yes, Jomo. Just the affairs of the village," he lied, his thoughts still on Nia. Back at their modest home, Amina sat with her mother, Layla. The atmosphere was thick with tension. "Mother, what will I do?" Amina asked, her voice trembling. "Mwangi denies everything." Layla sighed, placing a comforting hand on her daughter's shoulder. "We will get through this, Amina. The truth always finds a way." The village council gathered in the meeting hall, discussing various issues. The topic soon turned to the rumors about Amina. "Mwangi, what do you have to say about these allegations?" asked one of the elders. Mwangi's face remained stoic. "These are baseless rumors meant to tarnish my reputation. I have no involvement with Amina." Meanwhile, Nia sat on the steps of her home, unaware of Mwangi's growing obsession with her. She chatted with her friend, Zara, about their future dreams. "Imagine if we could leave this village and see the world, Nia," Zara said, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Nia smiled. "One day, Zara. One day." As the days passed, the tension in the village grew. Amina struggled with her reality while Mwangi's fantasies about Nia deepened. Little did they know, these tangled destinies would soon collide, setting the stage for an unending journey that would reshape their lives and the fate of Ginger. The village of Ginger continued its routine, unaware of the storm brewing beneath its surface. The unending journey for Canis, yet to be born, was beginning to take shape in the shadows of secrets, lies, and unfulfilled dreams. Amina's pregnancy had become the talk of the village, and the burden of shame weighed heavily on her family, particularly her father, Hassan. Hassan paced back and forth in their humble home, his face flushed with anger. His wife, Layla, and younger daughter, Layla, watched with concern. "I will not have this shame brought upon my family," Hassan fumed. "The village must know the truth. Mwangi will pay for what he has done." Layla stepped forward, trying to calm her husband. "Hassan, please. Think of Amina. She needs our support now more than ever." Hassan shook his head, determination in his eyes. "No, Layla. I will go to the highest authority. I must see to the end of this no matter what it will cost me. Even though I am not rich, he can't oppress me. Mwangi must take responsibility." The next village meeting, Hassan used the opportunity to vent his anger. He stood before the village elders, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "My daughter has been wronged by Mwangi. He denies his involvement, but I demand justice. Hassan declared. The elders exchanged uneasy glances. Elder Kato, the oldest and wisest, spoke up. Hassan, these are serious accusations. We will summon Mwangi and hear his side. Mwangi stood before the elders, his expression calm and defiant. I have no part in this. Amina's condition has nothing to do with me, Mwangi stated firmly. Hassan's eyes blazed with anger. You lie. You must take responsibility. Elder Carter raised his hand to silence the room. We will investigate this matter thoroughly. Until then, both parties must maintain peace. Back at home, Hassan confronted Amina, his voice harsh. You must leave this house. I cannot bear the shame of a bastard child under my roof, Hassan declared. Amina's eyes filled with tears. Father, please. Where will I go? Layla intervened, her voice pleading. Hassan, she is our daughter. We cannot abandon her. Layla, her younger sister, clung to Amina. Father, please. Amina needs us. P000 Hassan's resolve wavered, but his pride remained. One more mistake, Amina, and you are out. As Amina walked through the village, she felt the stares and heard the whispers of people. Look at her, carrying the leader's child, one woman sneered. Such a disgrace, another muttered. Amina's heart ached, but she kept her head high. She knew she had to be strong for her unborn child. One evening, Mwangi confronted Amina in a secluded part of the village. You will tell everyone that I am not the father, Mwangi demanded. Amina's eyes widened in fear. But it's the truth. Mwangi's voice turned menacing. If you don't, I will make your life even more difficult. Do you understand? Trembling, Amina nodded. Yes, I understand. Months passed, and Amina gave birth to a beautifully handsome baby boy with golden hair. The villagers were awestruck by the child's appearance. Such a handsome baby, one woman remarked. Look at that golden hair, another added. Despite the challenges and scorn, Amina felt a surge of love and pride as she held her son. She named him Canis, hoping he would grow to be strong and resilient. At home, Layla cradled Canis, marveling at his golden hair. He is a blessing, Amina. You must stay strong for him. Hassan, though still grappling with his pride, softened as he looked at his grandson. Perhaps this child will bring us hope. Amina smiled through her tears. He will, father. He will. The village of Ginger continued to buzz with rumors, but Amina stood resilient, her love for Canis driving her forward. Despite the challenges and the forced denial, she knew that her journey and that of her son was just beginning, destined to be an unending saga of strength, hope, and destiny. Years passed, and Canis grew into a remarkably handsome boy. His golden hair and striking features bore an uncanny resemblance to Mwangi, the village leader. The villagers couldn't help but notice, whispering among themselves as Canis played and worked alongside his mother, Amina, and grandmother, Layla. Amina and Layla worked in the fields, harvesting crops. Canis, now 8 years old, helped with the lighter tasks, his laughter a bright spot in their hard day. Mother, look! I found a big one! Canis exclaimed, holding up a large yam. Amina smiled, wiping sweat from her brow. Good job, Canis. You're getting stronger every day. Layla patted Canis's head, her eyes filled with pride and concern. Remember to stay close, Canis. You know how your grandfather can be. Despite the years that had passed, Hassan's bitterness towards Canis and Amina had not diminished. At home, he watched Canis with a scowl. Hassan, he's just a child, Layla pleaded. He needs love and care, especially from his grandfather. Hassan grumbled. He is not my grandson, I will not accept him. Amina, overhearing, sighed. Mother, let's go inside. Canis needs to eat. Mwangi stood at the edge of the market, watching Canis as he helped his mother with their produce. The boy's golden hair glinted in the sunlight, a stark reminder of Mwangi's own features. "Who is that boy?" Mwangi asked one of his advisors. "That's Amina's son, Canis," the advisor replied. "There's been much talk about his resemblance to someone." Mwangi's eyes narrowed. "Indeed. Keep an eye on him." In the quiet of the night, Amina and Layla sat by the fire, discussing their worries and hopes. "Mother, I fear for Canis. Mwangi's interest in him seems to be growing," Amina confided. Layla nodded. "We must protect him, Amina. Your father may be harsh, but we will find a way." Canis, pretending to sleep nearby, listened intently, his young mind filled with confusion and questions. At the village school, Canis faced both admiration and envy from his peers. His intelligence and looks set him apart. "Hey, Canis. Your hair looks like the village leader's," one boy teased. "Maybe he is secretly a prince," another mocked. Canis shrugged off the comments, focusing on his studies. He knew his mother and grandmother were working hard for his future, and he wanted to make them proud. Mwangi's curiosity grew into an obsession. He began discreetly asking the villagers about Canis. "Do you know anything about Amina's child?" Mwangi asked an elder. The elder hesitated. "Many say he looks just like you, Mwangi. It has been the talk of the village for years." Mwangi's face darkened. Interesting. Hassan's resentment boiled over one evening as he returned home, drunk and angry. "That boy is not welcome in my house," Hassan shouted, pointing at Canis. Amina stood her ground, shielding Canis. "He is your grandson, Hassan. Accept him or lose us both." Layla stepped between them. "Enough, Hassan. This hatred is destroying our family." Hassan stormed out, leaving Amina and Layla to comfort a shaken Canis. Layla took Canis aside the next morning. "Your grandfather is a troubled man, but remember, Canis, you have us. We will always protect you." Canis nodded, hugging his grandmother tightly. "Thank you, Grandma. I will be strong." One day, Mwangi couldn't resist any longer. He approached Amina in the market. "Amina, we need to talk about your son," Mwangi said, his voice low but firm. Amina looked him in the eye, her expression resolute. "There is nothing to discuss, Mwangi. Canis is my son, and that is all that matters." Mwangi's eyes flickered with a mixture of anger and uncertainty. "The boy resembles me. The village talks. This cannot continue." Amina stood her ground. "The truth will reveal itself in time, Mwangi. Until then, leave us in peace." As their seasons changed, so did Canis. He grew stronger, both physically and emotionally, under the watchful eyes of his mother and grandmother. Despite the scorn from Hassan and the lingering curiosity of Mwangi, Canis thrived. Amina and Layla continued to support him, teaching him the values of resilience and love. As Canis grew, so did the whispers and gossips in the village. Every day, he faced the scrutiny of the villagers, their words cutting deeper than any blade. The once cheerful boy found himself questioning everything he knew. In the schoolyard, Canis overheard a group of children whispering. "Look at him. They say his father is the village leader," one girl said. "Why doesn't he live in a grand house then?" Another boy added mockingly. Canis clenched his fists, his heart pounding with confusion and anger. He ran from the school, tears stinging his eyes. Amina found Canis by the river, throwing stones into the water, his shoulders shaking with sobs. She approached quietly, sitting beside him. "Canis, what's wrong?" Amina asked gently, her voice filled with concern. "Mother, why do they say such things about me?" Canis cried, looking at her with tear-filled eyes. "Why do they hate me?" Amina's heart broke at the sight of her son's pain. She wrapped her arms around him, holding him close. "Canis, people can be cruel when they don't understand," she began. her voice steady but emotional. "There are things about your birth that you are old enough to know." Amina took a deep breath, her mind racing back to the past. "When I was your age, Canis, I made some choices that led to your birth. Your father, Mwangi, was the village leader. We had a relationship, and when I found out I was pregnant, he denied any responsibility." Canis looked up, confusion and hurt etched on his face. "But why didn't he want me? Why did he deny you?" Amina's eyes filled with tears. "He was a powerful man, Canis. He was afraid of losing his position and reputation. But none of that matters because you are the greatest blessing in my life. Your grandmother and I have always loved you and protected you." Later that evening, Canis sat with Layla by the fire. The warmth of the flames contrasted with the cold ache in his heart. "Grandma, why does Grandpa hate me so much?" Canis asked, his voice trembling. Layla sighed, her eyes sad. "Your grandfather is a proud man, Canis. He struggles with the shame of the past, but his anger is misplaced. You are not at fault. Will he ever accept me?" Canis whispered. Layla smiled softly, brushing his golden hair away from his face. "In time, perhaps. But know this, Canis, you are loved beyond measure. You have a bright future ahead of you, and no one can take that away." Amina watched Canis as he lay on his mat, his eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling. She knelt beside him, taking his hand in hers. "Canis, I know this is hard for you," she said softly. "But you must remember that you are strong. You are my son, and I am so proud of you." Canis turned to her, tears slipping down his cheeks. "Mother, will they always hate me? Will I always be the outcast?" Amina's heart ached, but she held his gaze, determination in her eyes. "People fear what they don't understand. But you have the power to change their minds. Show them the kind, intelligent, and brave person you are. Show them that you are more than their whispers and gossip." Meanwhile, Mwangi sat alone in his home, the weight of his decisions pressing down on him. He remembered the way Canis looked at him, the unmistakable resemblance. His heart was a battlefield of pride and guilt. Could he really be mine? Mwangi muttered to himself, his thoughts a turmoil. The next day, as Canis walked through the village, the whispers continued. But this time, he stood taller, his mother's words giving him strength. "There's the bastard child," a villager sneered. Canis stopped, looking the man in the eye. "I am not ashamed of who I am," he said firmly. "My mother loves me, and that is enough." Back at home, Amina and Layla watched Canis with pride. His newfound strength was a beacon of help for their small family. "Mother, I want to be strong for you and Grandma," Canis said, determined in his voice. "I want to prove to everyone that I am more than their gossip." Amina hugged him tightly. "You already have, Canis. You already have, Canis. You already have." The challenges and scorn from the villagers continued, but Canis found strength in his family's love and support. As he grew, so did his resolve to rise above the whispers and hatred. With every step, he moved closer to understanding his true worth and destiny, embracing the unending journey that...
To be continued in the next episode.